Donald Trump is on Capitol Hill today for the first time since telling his supporters to, quote, fight like hell on January 6th. He's got a packed day. It started this morning with a meeting with House Republicans, and sources inside the room tell us it was a typical Trump performance, bragging about his polls, attacking Republicans who have opposed him, questioning why Taylor Swift would support a Democrat.
Trump is in serious political trouble right now, and courts are building something he can't stop. Judges are issuing rulings that document constitutional violations, rulings that create a permanent record of abuse of power. And Democrats are watching every single one, knowing these rulings become the foundation for what comes next: impeachment. And Trump just admitted to House Republicans in a closed-door meeting that he knows exactly what's coming. He said, if we don't win, I'll get impeached. Not might get impeached, not could face impeachment, will get impeached. Like it's already decided, and Trump is panicking. Absolutely panicking. And if you want coverage that actually explains how catastrophic this situation is, hit that subscribe button right now for our channel, John Brown Show. All right, let's get into what's actually happening, because this meeting with House Republicans was supposed to be typical Trump. Bragging about his polls, attacking his opponents, doing impressions of Biden, getting members fired up for the midterms, but instead Trump revealed something he's clearly terrified about. He told them, if we don't win, I'll get impeached. Just put it out there to his own party. Admitted that losing the House means facing impeachment immediately. And here's what makes this devastating. Trump has already been impeached twice, once in his first term for abuse of power and obstruction of Congress over the Ukraine scandal, once after January 6th for incitement of insurrection. Both times the Senate didn't convict him, he survived, he's still president. But a third impeachment is different. Think about what that means. A third impeachment looks like a pattern. Like the House has spent years trying to remove him, and finally Congress is saying, that's enough, we're doing this again. And voters look at 3 impeachments and think, this guy must have really done something wrong if the House keeps trying to remove him. And Trump understands this. That's why he's panicking, because he knows House Democrats have already written impeachment resolutions, already written out the charges. They're just waiting for the votes. The moment they have the majority, boom, impeachment articles hit the floor. Third time's the charm. And this time, Trump doesn't have the same legal protections he had before. Make sure you're subscribed to John Brown Show, because courts are actively building the case against him right now. Judges are ruling on tariff authorities saying Trump is overstepping. Judges are ruling on war powers saying Trump needs congressional approval before military action. Judges are ruling on federal agencies saying Trump is violating constitutional rights. And each of those rulings creates a record. Each opinion documents the ways Trump is abusing power. And when Democrats get back in power, they're going to take all those rulings and say, see, judges across the country agree Trump is violating the Constitution. Here are the articles of impeachment based on documented judicial findings. That's not courts ordering impeachment. Courts can't do that, but courts are providing the legal foundation. Judges doing their job of checking executive power, and then Congress using those checks as evidence in impeachment proceedings. Trump's nightmare scenario is playing out in real time. Judges keep ruling against him, keep documenting his misconduct in formal opinions. And when the midterms happen and Democrats win, those rulings become ammunition for impeachment. All the constitutional violations judges have been cataloging, all the abuses of power they've been limiting, all of it becomes Exhibit A in impeachment articles. Think about what that means. The first impeachment was December 2019 for abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. Trump pressured Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden, then obstructed the House investigation into it. The House voted to impeach. The Senate voted to acquit. Trump survived. The second impeachment was January 2021 for incitement of insurrection. Trump was accused of inciting the January 6th riots at the Capitol. The House voted to impeach. The Senate held a trial but didn't get enough votes to convict and remove him. Trump survived again. So Trump has lived through 2 impeachments already. Knows what it's like. Knows how politically devastating it is. Knows how much damage it does to his presidency and his legacy. And he's terrified of a third one. Because the pattern matters enormously. And one impeachment you can dismiss as partisan politics. Democrats just hate Trump and want to remove him for political reasons. 2 impeachments, you start thinking maybe there's actually something here. Maybe Trump really is abusing power in ways that justify impeachment. 3 impeachments, and you're basically admitting this president is so problematic that Congress has spent his entire term trying to remove him. And that's what Trump is trying to prevent. He's trying to keep Republicans in control of the House because as long as Republicans control the House, they won't impeach him. Republicans have shown repeatedly they'll defend Trump no matter what he does. They'll say impeachment is partisan. They'll vote against it. They'll protect him. But Democrats are different. Democrats have already done the legal work, written the impeachment articles, identified the charges. They're just waiting for the votes. And Trump knows it. That's what he meant when he said, if we don't win, I'll get impeached. He's saying if Democrats take the House, they're going to impeach me immediately. It's not a question of whether, it's just a question of when. Think about what that means. And that's why Trump is panicking about court rulings, because each court ruling that documents misconduct makes the impeachment case stronger. Each judge that says Trump is abusing power adds to the evidence Democrats will use. If judges are saying Trump violated tariff law, that becomes an impeachment charge. If judges are saying Trump violated war powers, that's another charge. If judges are saying Trump abused federal agencies, that's another one. The courts are basically handing Democrats a roadmap for impeachment, and Trump understands this perfectly. That's why he's warning House Republicans, if we lose, I'll get impeached. He's trying to make them understand the stakes, trying to motivate them to hold the House at all costs, trying to prevent a scenario where courts have documented his misconduct and then Democrats take power and use that documentation to impeach him. Here's how the mechanics actually work. The Constitution gives the House of Representatives the power to impeach the president. That's basically bringing formal charges, the House saying we believe the president committed high crimes and misdemeanors and we're bringing formal charges against him. Once the House votes to impeach, it goes to the Senate. The Senate holds a trial. And if 2/3 of the Senate votes to convict the president, is removed from office. Courts don't have any role in impeachment. Courts can't say you have to impeach. Courts can't say you can't impeach. Impeachment is a political power, a power of Congress. Judges stay out of it entirely. Here's where it gets interesting. Judges can issue rulings about whether the president is violating the law. Judges can issue opinions explaining how the president is abusing power. Judges can document misconduct in formal judicial opinions. And all of that becomes evidence that Congress can use in impeachment proceedings. Think about what that means. So what's happening right now is courts are actively limiting Trump's power. Judges ruling on tariff cases and saying Trump is overstepping his constitutional authority. Judges ruling on war powers and saying Trump needs congressional approval before launching military operations. Judges ruling on Trump's use of federal agencies and saying he's violating people's constitutional rights. And each of those rulings creates a permanent record. Each opinion documents specific ways Trump is abusing power. And when Democrats get back in power, they take all those rulings and say, look, judges across the country agree Trump is violating the Constitution. Here are the articles of impeachment based on documented judicial findings from multiple courts. That's not courts ordering impeachment. That's courts providing the legal foundation for impeachment. Judges doing their constitutional job of checking executive power, and then Congress using those judicial checks as evidence in a political impeachment process. And Trump can't stop this. Can't prevent courts from ruling against him. Can't stop judges from documenting his misconduct. Can't make those rulings disappear once they're issued. So even if Trump somehow manages to hold the House in November, he's still dealing with court rulings that document his constitutional violations. And if he loses the House, those court rulings immediately become part of impeachment articles. Share this video with everyone you know, because either way, Trump loses. That's his nightmare scenario. That's why he's panicking. Not because a judge is going to impeach him directly. Judges can't do that. But because judges keep ruling against him and documenting misconduct, and when the midterms happen and Democrats win, those rulings become the foundation for a third impeachment. Think about what that means. The 2026 midterms just became an impeachment referendum. Trump made this crystal clear. He said, if we don't win, I'll get impeached. So the midterms aren't just about normal congressional power. They're literally about whether Trump faces a third impeachment. And when you frame it that way, everything changes. It's not just about healthcare policy or immigration or the economy anymore. It's about whether Trump stays in power or faces removal proceedings. Now, Trump probably won't actually be removed from office. Senate Republicans will probably vote to acquit him again, just like they did the first 2 times. But the impeachment process itself is politically devastating. It's humiliating for the president. It dominates the news cycle for months. It puts Trump on trial in front of the entire country. And voters see it as evidence that Congress thinks he's a serious problem, that judges think he's violating the Constitution, that there's real substance to the accusations against him. So for Trump, losing the House isn't just about losing political power to pass legislation. It's about facing impeachment. It's about going through that whole traumatic process again. It's about his legacy and his reputation being destroyed even further. That's why he's panicking. That's why he's warning Republicans in these closed-door meetings. He's not just worried about policy outcomes. He's worried about his own survival in office, about whether he can make it through his full term without being impeached a 3rd time, about whether Senate Republicans will keep protecting him if the House impeaches him yet again. Share this with everyone and House Democrats are ready to move. They've already written the impeachment resolutions, already identified the charges they'll bring: abuse of power based on court rulings about tariffs, violation of war powers based on Venezuela operation, constitutional violations based on federal agency abuses, all of it documented by judges in formal rulings. Democrats aren't eager to impeach right now because they don't have the votes. Republicans control the House. But Democrats are ready. They've done the legal work, put together the case, and Democratic leaders have said publicly that if they regain the majority, they will move quickly on impeachment and other accountability measures. Think about what that means. They won't wait around, won't negotiate, won't give Trump time to explain himself. They'll bring impeachment articles to the floor within weeks of taking the majority, and they'll vote. So it's not a question of whether Democrats will impeach Trump if they take the House. It's a question of when, not if, when, and Trump knows this. That's what makes the 2026 midterms so high stakes for him personally. Losing the House doesn't just mean losing political power. It means facing impeachment immediately. It means going through that process again. It means having to defend himself in the Senate. It means his entire presidency becomes about survival instead of governing. Bottom line is this: Trump is in serious political trouble as courts build a case he can't stop. Judges issuing rulings that document constitutional violations and abuse of power, creating permanent record Democrats will use for impeachment. Trump admitted to House Republicans that if we don't win, I'll get impeached. Not might get impeached, will get impeached. Like it's already decided the moment Democrats take the House. Trump already survived 2 impeachments. First, for abuse of power and obstruction over Ukraine. Second, for incitement of insurrection after January 6th. But third impeachment looks like pattern. Makes voters think Trump really is problematic if House keeps trying to remove him. Courts actively limiting Trump's power right now. Judges ruling on tariffs, war powers, federal agencies. Each ruling documents abuse of power. Each opinion becomes evidence for impeachment articles. Democrats already wrote impeachment resolutions, already identified charges based on court rulings, just waiting for votes. Moment they have majority impeachment articles hit the floor immediately. Trump can't stop courts from ruling against him, can't prevent judges from documenting misconduct, can't make rulings disappear. So even if he holds House, he's dealing with court rulings documenting violations. If he loses House, those rulings become impeachment articles. 2026 midterms are impeachment referendum, not about policy, about whether Trump faces 3rd impeachment and removal proceedings. Trump panicking because he knows Democrats are ready and courts are building the case. This story continues. Stay tuned.